Ohio is just weird. I hear about people wanting to make a move here every single day. And just as contrarian, I hear about people wanting to leave here every single day. And although a lot of people say the Midwest is dying, Columbus tells an absolutely different story. So here's what you gotta know. What's up guys, it's Kagan here, and let's start off with the main thing, the houses. Columbus's housing market has definitely shifted in the past few months and the past few years. You see, during the time of the pandemic, it was an absolute frenzy, an absolute free-for-all with interest rates in the 3s and the 4s and people coming here left and right to purchase left and right. And it still makes sense even in 2025 and 2026, with the median home cost hovering anywhere from around $275,000 to $375,000. You're coming to Columbus and you're knowing one thing. Regardless of what major coastal city you're coming from, you still get the opportunity to purchase a property. What's crazy about this is still 20% cheaper than compared to the national average. But that's not to say that we're not growing. We still have a steady 7 to 8% growth every single year in key specific neighborhoods. I like to picture it just like this. The market's cooled down just enough for buyers to actually be able to look at a property, decide amongst themselves in a 24 or 48 hour window, and ultimately put in an offer. But let's stop. This isn't the case with properties that are listed below market value, because those are still up for grabs and they're going fast. One of the big places where this is happening is Clintonville, where that historic charm, that's something that a lot of people want. And this is affluent because it's increasing in property value every single year. The second thing has to be New Albany. You see, with the Intel project and with more and more growth actively happening in this location, we're seeing more and more families actively look at this and say, this is where I want to live. Combine that with a beautiful home and the international business sector, and it's an absolute no-brainer. You see, we have people reach out to us every single week about making that move to Columbus. And New Albany is always on the top of their radar. We actually had a client of ours reach out all the way from California. He's a professional musician, has done all sorts of different jobs, and the one thing that he says is this: I've lived in Columbus before. I live in Los Angeles now, and I want a place that's a little bit more tranquil. It's a little bit quieter and somewhere where I can actually grow my family. You see, his kids play soccer and he wants a good soccer field. He also wants good education and ultimately a good, safe location. He said this is his game plan: rent for the first few months, and then if he likes specific neighborhoods, actually buy a property up to $600,000. And that's what we see a lot of real estate clients doing actively. And in specific markets like Clintonville, like New Albany, and the other places that we're going to cover, that's where all of them seem to be going to. You see, but there's also some places that I think are absolutely slept on. Places like Pickerton, Canal Winchester, and maybe the southeast side, where it's a little bit quieter compared to these bigger name locations. It's absolutely still a location that I think you should look at if you want something tranquil, but also not have the same cost associated with places like Dublin and places like New Albany and places like Powell. I've said this before, but my entire family lives in Canal Winchester, Vanillesburg, Pataskala, and that surrounding area. It gets a little annoying because they know where I live and they can just always come and visit me. Yeah, I don't know. But at the same time, it's fun because we live in a close proximity and we're still able to purchase new build properties around the $400,000 range and still find something at a really good deal and something that's super charming. The investment reality is this: heartland migration is constantly driving the price point up. And honestly, the best way for me to put it is we're transitioning from a pandemic peak to sustainable growth. And one of the big things that we have to talk about is Columbus is expected to grow to 1 million people by 2050 and 3 million people in the outskirts. Whoa. So what's the catch here is we gotta focus on new construction and housing permits, allowing builders to actually build in lands and incentivize growth from that perspective. If we have more homes and more people can actively come here, that's a really good thing for all parties. And places like Union, Delaware, and Franklin are seeing a rise in inventory level in the housing units. In fact, Union and Delaware has seen a 2% rise in housing units, the most in the entire state of Ohio. But I know the question that you're going to ask: Gagan, what's actually driving this growth? And in my opinion, there's three major things. Number one is the tech boom. We are the data center capital of the Midwest. In 2023, 2024, 2025, and beyond, we've seen massive multi-billion-dollar companies actively make this home. From Intel, with their collaboration with TSMC, Facebook, Microsoft, Google, and so much more, we're seeing this become the data capital of the world. And here's why. Ohio is so strategically placed within a day's drive of 60% of the entire USA. It makes sense from a manufacturing standpoint, from a deliverability standpoint, from just a construction standpoint, that so many companies are going to make this home. Combining with this tech boom, we also have ample power supply to actually make these projects come to fruition. The second thing is career opportunities. Massive companies and massive sectors are home here. From Nationwide Insurance to JP Morgan Chase, Ohio Health, Abercrombie & Fitch, Honda, and so much more. You know that we have one key thing that most other markets don't: diversification. Tech ecosystems are also creating thousands thousands of new jobs annually, and on top of that, compared to other Midwestern markets, we have a 15% increase in salary compared to the rest. And the third thing is education. And this is more powerful than you think. You see, education not only facilitates the student, it facilitates the teacher, the faculty, the parents, and the grandparents. People want to live in close places with their children. It's just how it works. And when you have the funds to actually purchase a secondary home close by to OSU, Mount Carmel, you're gonna wanna do that. OSU is OSU. That's the best way for me to put it. We're kind of who Michigan wishes they were. From actually driving innovation to having a massive talent pool, that's why people are constantly growing there. And Columbus State is specializing in workforce training like none other. Tech boot camps are feeding qualified candidates to growing industries, all of which are developing here. And with talks of potentially removing either income tax or property tax, we're gonna see a lot of individuals come here. In fact, I did an Instagram video on what the removal of income tax would do. We had a ton of comments. I'm gonna put it right here so you can kind of see it, but this is the post that we had. Check it out whenever you've got some free time. After you finish this video, of course. The best way for me to put it is Columbus offers the best salary to livability aspect in the entire Midwest. And we've got this really cool cycle going here. I'll do it with my hands so you can check it out. You got education here, let's say a nurse. That nurse that is actually studying at Mount Carmel can then get a job at Mount Carmel. And if she's working at Mount Carmel, she's gonna buy a house in Columbus. If she buys a house and grows a family here, the children will go to the high school here. And if they wanna work in whatever opportunity, they're going to OSU. It's a circular thing. Now, is this for every single situation? No, I'm generalizing. But when you think about it from that perspective, the economics makes sense. The family situation makes sense. Overall, you're seeing why people are coming here left and right. And it's not just people from the coastal cities that are looking to make that move to Columbus. We actually had a client of ours reach out from the great area of Michigan. Wouldn't you know it? And they said one thing, Gagan, we actually got a tech job in Dublin and we'd love the opportunity to make Dublin home. They've seen enough of my videos where they actually knew we already wanted to go, which is a really cool thing. And that's kind of what happens all the time. You see, we think that a lot of people are coming from Florida, from places like Washington, California, and Texas. And for the most part, they are. But we're also seeing a ton of inland migration as a whole. Columbus is just different. That's the best way for me to put it. And that's one of the main reasons why so many people are actively coming here. Now, if income tax or property tax does go away, I can promise you one thing: exponential growth like we've never seen before. And that's a promise. You see, with all the things that I've talked about prior, if we do get rid of either property tax or income tax, it means massive, massive growth. And hey, I'm willing to bet, especially with new legislation and new opportunities and new people in places that actually care about Ohio, we might be able to make that happen. But hey, Columbus isn't all sunshine and rainbows. Literally, 70% of our days are actually clouded. Let's talk about the four major things that will drive people away. And if any of these things are negative or things that you don't even want, then Columbus isn't gonna be the place for you. And stick around because the third and fourth thing are definitely the worst. You see, commute time has gone up nearly 12% since 2023 alone in key corridors. And I can attest to this, especially when I'm having a rough day. Or let's say that I've gone back from just a crazy day. And there's just some jerk that's driving ahead of me and he doesn't know how to drive. Yeah, it's gonna get to me. And that tends to happen a lot more than not. I-70, I-71, State Route 33, and 270 as a whole are absolute nightmares. And it makes sense. I-270 is going to grow, especially with the population growth. The other issue is we don't really have a light rail and our limited public transit is going to be, well, affluent with everyone. But ODOT is looking to create the Link US Mobilities Transit, which is almost an $8 billion growth opportunity to bring transportation all across central Ohio. But the one thing that I don't think people cover is the fact that you don't necessarily have to live in downtown Columbus. Most people that are calling us aren't living in downtown Columbus, and the traffic in places like Dublin, New Albany, Reynoldsburg, Pataskala, the surrounding neighborhoods, it's just not gonna be as bad. You know, I love to travel. One of my favorite places to go to was Belgium. I think it's super duper underrated. In Belgium, the weather is kind of snotty, let's say that. Some days it's really good, and some days it gets really bad. Now, Italy is the exact opposite. I went January, February, and March, and even at those times, it was 75 and 80 degrees. Amalfi Coast was molto bene. But out of Belgium and Italy, which one do you think Columbus and Ohio is more like? That's right, it's more like Belgium, because the weather here, it's not the best. Winter blues are real, with only about 75 days of full sunshine a year. Temperatures Temperature swings can absolutely be affluent, especially when you're just trying to relax, with days that can get up to 100 degrees and the winters that can get below -25. The unpredictable spring storms also creates insurance challenges as a whole. Listen, if you're coming here either from the south or the west coast, the weather will 100% be an adjustment. The second thing is overall, well, just growth pains as a whole. I know we talked about specific neighborhoods and how they've been cooling down, but other neighborhoods that are super duper popular, they've not normalized at all. Popular neighborhoods are still seeing bidding wars despite market stabilizations. Overall, infrastructure has not kept up with the demand of the people, and schools are definitely going through overcrowdedness, especially in top schools and top neighborhoods. But I will tell you this, schools and hospitals are seeing more and more buildings left and right. Ohio Health is building more hospitals, and the city is looking to build more schools. You know, I've talked about this often, but I'm an immigrant, right? I came here from Nepal in 2008 with my family. Ohio has the largest population of Nepali people. But I will tell you this, Columbus as a whole, from a cultural standpoint, is absolutely being worked on. And that's the best way for me to define it. Is it as massive of a cultural hub as other bigger cities? Not by a long shot. Is it trying? Absolutely. Now, I've never really been a big party guy or a rave guy, but there's definitely pockets of Columbus that is growing in all these cultural facilitations. And we also have so many festivals and so many different events that honestly, you can kind of hide this a little bit. We partner with the best real estate agents in the entire marketplace. If you're thinking about making a move to Columbus, or you just have any questions at all, give our team a call, shoot us a text, and this is what we love to do. You know, in the last few months, we've had tons of you guys reach out from saying, hey, listen, your story resonates with me too. I'm actually working in tech and I know exactly where I want to live too. I have no idea where I want to live, but I know that I want to move to Columbus. I love all those things. And I'd love the opportunity. Honestly, I want to invite you to give us a call. If you have any questions about Columbus as a whole, please reach out. It's honestly not a bother whatsoever. The reason that we make these videos is because we love this city. And honestly, we want to help you love this city too. So let's answer the question. Why are people still moving to Columbus? And honestly, who is it for? Honestly, it's for you if you're working in tech. You have career opportunities and job growth is a massively important thing for you. It's also for you if you work remote and you're tired of those coastal price points. If you're a family that's prioritizing really good schools and amazing communities, this is where you want to be. If you want both urban vice and suburban tranquility, you're coming here. And honestly, if you're an investor and you're looking to develop, maybe purchase land or purchase properties outright, you're gonna make Columbus home. But for every yin, there's a yang. Who's Columbus not for? If you want mountains, oceans, or dramatic landscapes, don't even come to Ohio. If you need public transit to the highest degree, don't come to Columbus. If seasonal affective disorder affects you, you're not gonna wanna live here either. And if you want crazy nightlife options, then this isn't the place for you, right? For most of the clients that are reaching out to us, they're family, and they're looking at places like New Albany, like Dublin, something a little bit more tranquil and the hippity-doo-dah that exists as a whole. And I think Columbus is a fantastic spot, especially with all the growth and innovation that's actively happening here left and right. The question isn't whether people are looking to make that move to Columbus. The question is, are you? And if you are, I actually did an entire A to Z guide about living in Columbus, Ohio. I'm gonna put that video right here. Watch it, and I'll see you soon. Peace.